Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of MJ Everyday, a training based episode for you guys today, specifically focusing on training back. So I'm going to go through some exercise selection and I'm going to go through some mind muscle connection tips and tricks for you guys as well. So starting with exercise selection, whenever you're planning a back workout, guys, remember that your back has three main functions. The muscles in your back will perform three main functions. Those functions are pulling in, so pulling in towards your torso, pulling down, so pulling down towards your torso, and then pulling over and pulling through, so pulling past your torso. So whenever you're planning a back workout, you should, as a bare minimum, be hitting at least one movement that's going to target the pulling in towards your torso, so one rowing type movement, at least one movement that's going to target the pulling down towards your torso, so at least one pull down or pull up type movement, and then at least one movement that's going to target the pulling through your torso, so a pull over type movement. Hitting at least one exercise that really targets at least one of those functions of the back is an absolute must for each and every back workout. Generally what I will do, because I train back by itself, so it gets its own workout, and I'll hit 6, 7, sometimes 8 different exercises, is I'll alternate. So I might start with a row and then move to a pull up or a pull down and then move to a pull through and then go back to a row, back to another pull up or pull down, back to another pull through, and then maybe finish with a superset where I'm supersetting a pull down and a pull through, or maybe a row and a pull down, or something of that nature. So I'll kind of cycle through the different functions of the back as we go through the workout to make sure that I'm really stimulating all of the muscles in my back and making sure that I'm targeting those three functions of the back as best I can. Secondly, a back mind muscle connection training tip for you guys. Whenever you're training back, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they focus on pulling with their wrists, not pulling with their elbows. And what that's going to do, guys, as soon as you start focusing on pulling with your wrists, which is very easy to do because obviously whatever you're gripping with your hands, so your initial instinct is to think about wrist movement. But what that's going to do is it's going to involve a lot more forearm and a lot more bicep in your rowing movements, your pulling down movements, and your pulling over movements, and even with your pulling over movements, a lot more tricep as well than you really need to. If you take that focus away from pulling with your wrists and focus on pulling with your elbows, what that's going to do is target your back a lot more. So immediately you're going to start retracting your scapula with your rowing movements, your pulling down movements, and your pulling over movements, because you're thinking about leading the movement, driving the movement with your elbows rather than your wrists. So if you have trouble with mind muscle connection as an overall principle, trouble really focusing on the muscles in your back and getting them to contract, a good intermediary step is to think about pulling with your elbows. Think about leading your rowing movements, your pulling down movements, your pulling over movements with your elbows as the driving force, rather than thinking about leading with your wrists. Guys, that's a wrap for today's episode of MJ Everyday. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on, both on your mobile or cell phone and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel. Until tomorrow, I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com.